You'll owe about 37 to 40%.
I can't make
of that to.
I cannot swing that. You guys are gonna have to give me some sneaky rich people tips because I can't pay 40%.
What does your accountant think of all of this? Because I'm thinking through, it's like the gambling, that's got to be an impossible task.
Togei's response? I've got one Indian.
I got one Indian.
Coach Greg and all hell broke loose on the iced coffee hour. Togi just lost everything. How he made and blew $10 million in 90 days. And so, guys, what have I been saying? If you keep gambling, eventually you're going to lose it all. And so, let's dive into it.
Why do people call you the evil Sam Sulick?
Well, dude, it's like he's just the exact opposite of me. Doesn't go out, doesn't talk to nobody, but we're both jacked.
Yeah, no. We're not both jacked. He's actually the anti-Sam Sulick. Sam Sulick does everything right, and in comparison, Togi, well, he does everything wrong. And so if Sam Sulick put into the same effort as Togi, well, he would have Togi's physique. Enough said. Sam Sulick stayed in school while Togi dropped out. Sam stayed on his diet while Togi, well, he slept in while being hungover.
Mostly just crypto and gambling and bodybuilding. I'm good at getting
What the fuck?
So it's the complete opposites, but we're both like two of the bigger fitness influencers.
And so, yes, they're both fitness influencers, but Sam is a great fitness influencer, while Togi, he's the opposite. One promotes steroids, recreational drugs, and gambling, and the other, he doesn't do that.
I started at your first video and made my way through.
Yeah.
Holy crap. First of all, they're good videos. They're really addicting.
Graham with the great videos, they're really addicting. Keyword addicting, as in Togi's addicted to gambling, drugs, and so on.
If you could delete one influencer off the internet forever, who would it be?
Man, the worst one. I think we're gonna go with Togi.
Yeah, dude, Greg don't mean that.
I do mean that.
Greg loves the Togi clips. I'm telling you guys, Greg Doucette loves that shit. Behind the scenes, Greg is a gambler. I don't know if he does drugs, but Greg parties, he gambles.
What the fuck?
And so the truth is, it's a love and hate relationship. And so I love to watch Togi personally, but remember, I'm 49.
79!
I'm pushing 50. But it's 50 keys of Turk across the border. Code Greg, 15% off. And so the difference is my brain has finished developing. I can watch Togi for the satire, the joke that it really is. But young, impressionable teenagers, they can't do the same. They're influenced by Togi. He represents what they want to become. And so for that reason, I think Togi's a horrible influence to the world.
cigarette, champagne, and gambling. It's like my version of the incubator.
I mean, think about it. If I had a teenager, say he's 16, would I want him to be watching Togi? Of course, I would not.
And so everyone that posts on YouTube, you're just titled influencer, which is not what I am. I'm just an artist. Like entertainer, I make art.
And so Togi, he doesn't want to be labeled an influencer because he knows he's influencing people in a horrible way. He wants to be known as an entertainer. And so if you see Togi as simply an actor, a movie star, if you will, then it has a different tone. Hey guys, this isn't real. This is satire. I'm just an actor, an entertainer. None of this is supposed to be taken as real.
To a lot of the older people, like Greg Doucette, it's like a kind of a newer culture, I guess. And they see that and they're like, this is crazy. But it's normal. Everyone does like this.
And so Togi, who thinks that I'm old because I'm older than 35, he doesn't understand that I was once his age. That I also partied in university. It's as if kids think that we never were once them. You don't think that I know how to party? Togi, the difference is I do it responsibly. And as far as me being a gambler, used to gamble online Texas Hold'em, but don't do it right now. In fact, when I went to Las Vegas, I gambled for about 10 minutes. Myself and Mepstagram, and we won big. 50x cashed out, and then 100x. I'm like, Mepstagram, we have to leave. We can't continue. We don't want to end up like Togi. She actually said, do you think the games are rigged to have you win when you first go in? That way you're addicted and will want to continue. I'm like, no, they don't want to give people multiple wins on their first few tries. But the problem is, many people, they keep playing until they get the big win. And by the time that happens, they've lost thousands of dollars.
Yeah, actually, when I started the road to 10 million, the joke was that I was planning on just losing like $5 million because that's usually how it goes.
And so his plan, now remember, this is a man whose IQ is 79. 79! His plan was on the road to making $10 million that he would lose $5 million. That was his plan. And so if you're planning to lose $5 million in order to make 10, I don't think this is a very good plan. Now, do I also have plans to make $10 million? Yes. And what did I do? I made $10 million. And you're asking how? By selling cookbooks, of all things. And so while Togi's out there painting pictures, I'm actually moving real work. And as Togi likes to call it, a scheme, my scheme is to sell Turk Builder Max. Remember, I'm your favorite T-plug. I've smuggled it in from Uzbekistan, and I, of course, plan to sell out. And so if you don't want to miss the next drop, head to the website, it's almost always sold out, and apply to be on the SMS notification system. You then get a text message, and for 3 hours, you get first dibs before everyone else. And so if you're interested, click the link in the description. And so in my challenge, Togi, I never planned to lose any of those millions of dollars. And as Ashton Hall puts it, why stop at 10? We got to do 20.
You've made your first 10,000. Congratulations. You got to do at least 20, bro.
Well, hold on. Did you have $5 million to lose?
No, it would have been dead.
You would have gone in debt.
Did he say debt or dead? Because last I checked, if you owe someone $5 million, they're going to want it back. You can't just keep borrowing money. And who the heck is lending someone $5 million who cannot pay it back? Remember, bro, a year ago, he had no money to his name. He was driving a beater. Where would he have had the collateral? They don't just give you $5 million loans unless you have a history of making a shit ton of money. And so considering that when I applied to buy this house, I was approved for $8 million, how could Togi be given $5 million with no collateral? And so I don't believe anyone would loan Togi $5 million unless they're a moron.
But I think my, roughly my net worth was probably like $600,000 at that time, but my income was reasonably high. So that's why I'm comfortable.
And so he says, you know, guys, don't worry about me. My net worth, it's $600,000. And so I'm perfectly comfortable losing $5 million. How on earth does this make any sense? Do you think I would be comfortable losing $50 million? You can't just look at your net worth and think, oh, I'm comfortable losing X amount of money. And if you are, the comfort level should be an amount of money less than what you actually have. Now, if Togi said, you know what, I have $10 million and I feel like gambling 5, I'm going to gamble half of it because that is my job. That is how I roll. Well, by all means, this is your image. This is what you need to do. Then keep half and gamble the other half away. That would be at least minimally financially safe. You put half of your income away and you gamble the other half. That I would have no problem with. But when people see you risking everything and more than everything, money that you don't actually have, that's when you're going too far.
What the fuck?
Well, I don't know what I was on, but I thought I was going to make $25 million in 30 days. To my soul, my core.
And then in the next sentence, he says, to my core, I thought I would make $25 million. What drugs were you on? There was an episode of Billions I remember watching. They all took a certain drug and they thought they had unlocked their true potential. That they were suddenly all geniuses, that they could predict exactly what stocks would be going up. The drug was wrong. They were wrong. They were losing billions of dollars. And so whatever drug that you're taking, perhaps it's steroids, Xanax, sniffing creatine, and if that drug is telling you that you're going to win millions of dollars, that you got it locked in, You gotta stop taking the drug.
If you are truly crazy enough to think that you can do some, like, just maybe, can I do something crazy if I just try, and you really think it's going to happen and you go for it, you're going to get pretty close.
No, it's not what's going to happen at all. If you're so crazy that you think you do crazy things, chances are you're probably just crazy and you're crazy for thinking that. Perhaps listen to your friends. Hey friends, do you think that I should gamble $5 million tonight? I know it's crazy, but like, hear me out. If I just bet $5 million and I keep winning 10 times in a row, I'll probably have $100 million. You think I should do it? No, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't lose all of your life savings in order to gamble.
5-year-olds wants to gamble. They should gamble.
What does your accountant think of all of this? Because I'm thinking through, it's like the gambling, that's got to be an impossible task to calculate wins and losses.
He asked him what his accountant thinks. Do you think Togi has an accountant? I mean, Graham, an accountant. There's no way Togi has an accountant. What would the accountant do? Count how much money he's lost?
Like last night at the casino, I used a business card, took out like $10,000 just because whatever, I'd pick a random card. So he is super unhappy with me. I have not paid my taxes yet.
I've never paid my taxes yet. Bro claims to have made $4 million. And so unless he's already gambled away all that money, he's going to have to pay the IRS millions of dollars. Remember, if you're making money from a job, for example, of course, he's sponsored by gambling sites and so on, they're going to know, bro, you made X amount of money and you owe us X amount of money. And so, for example, if I make $10 million in a year, I have to pay the Canadian government over $5 million just so I can have free health care, of which I've waited 2 years to have my doctor's appointment today. 2 years for...
What the fuck?
And oh, by the way, 6.5 million Canadians don't even have a freaking doctor.
You'll owe about 37 to 40%.
I can't make
of that to.
I cannot swing that. You guys are gonna have to give me some sneaky rich people tips because I can't pay 40%.
And so Togi now needs a sneaky rich people tip, a scheme to not pay off that money. You really think that Togi has an accountant? An accountant would say, hey, you know, you're pulling 100, 200, 500,000 a month, whatever. You have to pay some of that back. The accountant would have told him.
Unless you lose the money, in which case you're going to use those losses to offset the $4 million profit, but you would then be still net down money.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure something else. That's not either of those options.
I mean, the option is he's going to gamble away all his money regardless. It's going to be a work expense. Hey guys, I spent all my money making YouTube videos and so on. Hey, I gave that lady $50,000. I gave this person this money. It was for a movie. It's a scheme. I bought a bunch of vacuums and somehow they all blew up. They all got waterlogged, whatever.
Now, I'm curious though, because you were gambling and like consistently winning. How were you able to do that? Was there a strategy behind this or was it luck?
He wasn't consistently winning. Did you not watch the video? He lost his entire life savings. It was over $200,000. Did you not watch that? Have you not watched him lose close to $1 million? I've watched him consistently win, then consistently lose. He does both.
And the security, you can feel fully secure. You can do anything you want. $70K a month, and you can do anything in the world. Everything, you can, unlimited doctor bills, whatever, this and that, insurance.
And so let's hear that. All you need is $70K a month, and you can live your best life. You can do anything that you want. And so why doesn't Togi just take the $70,000 a month and invest it and gamble the rest? Would that not make sense?
When you gamble when you're like 5 to 15 years old, it's better because then you learn how to gamble. You know what they're not teaching in school is how to gamble.
Like a stream the other week, I lost $1.8 million. So really...
So you're down to $2 million.
Yeah, which is, we're chipping away at the taxes.
And so from 1 minute on the podcast to another, he went from having $600,000 to $4 million to $3.8 million to $2 million. In the next minute, will we find he owes $5 million? Who knows?
Super mellow stream. But then once you start taking stimulants, it's like game over. The second you take any amount of stimulants, it's literally impossible to stop gambling.
And so once you take stimulants, it's literally impossible to stop gambling. Okay, so hear me out. Don't take stimulants. I mean, he's already had a near-death experience taking Addies laced with meth, and so why would you continue to take stimulants?
So it's a recipe for disaster. It's just like
Yeah, but it's awesome because gambling at a certain point, it's not even fun if you're not on stimulants.
And so hear them out, kids, teenagers. Gambling isn't even fun after a while unless you're on stimulants. It's kind of like going to the bar. Unless you're inebriated, perhaps you're drunk, perhaps you've sniffed creatine or something, going to the bar lacks or loses its luster unless you're somehow out of it. And so, is going to the bar actually fun? And you ponder upon that for about 5 seconds.
Because a lot of people say like comparison's the thief of joy, but you use comparison in a good way.
Sometimes the grass is green on the other side because it's fake. A good example is that Haley Welch girl, Haktua. Everyone's jealous. That's bullshit. That she's rich and famous and I'm not.
And so sometimes the grass is greener on the other side because it's fake, such as Togi's life. And you're thinking, this is great. The gambling, the drugs, he's the biggest man in Cabo. But what if it's fake? What if it's all an illusion? Is Togi actually happy? And so sometimes when you compare yourself to someone else and you're thinking, oh, I wish I had their life. I wish I could trade. You may be thinking that, but it's fake.
How is your business broken down right now in terms of like where income sources come in? How many people do you have behind the scenes that help you out?
I got one Indian.
And so they asked Togi, how do you make so much money? Togi's response? I've got one Indian.
I got one Indian.
And so I guess that's my problem. I have 14 employees from various parts of the world, but none of which are from India.
I plan everything, I edit everything, I film everything. I'm a one-man army, and I do 100% of the work, except for like whatever my Indian dude can take care of.
And so that's why he perhaps doesn't get his videos put out for weeks and or months, why his sponsors are saying, Togi, you have to put out some content, because he only has one guy who's actually working for him. And so Togi, maybe if you hire another videographer, you could put out more than one video every month. And for some reason, he then puts 4 videos out in about a matter of 2 days. I don't know what that's all about. I would suggest you spread out your videos perhaps once every week.
That doesn't sound
It's just a safety
interesting
net.
to
It's
me.
just a safety net.
But
that's all it is.
like safety inherently does not sound interesting to me. It's very boring.
And so safety inherently sounds boring to Togi. Is that why we think he has chlamydia? And so remember, if you're interested in a life coach or just coaching in general, you want to transform your physique, I've opened up brand new coaching slots at much cheaper prices, perhaps some that you can afford. And so if you're interested, please click the link in the description and apply today. Remember, it's myself and my team. We're going through your blood work, training programs, doing your diet, check-ins, everything, and also included weekly FaceTime calls with Coach Greg. And so if you're interested, click the link in the description. And remember, free diet and training programs are also offered on my website. For any of the supplements, code Greg 15% off. And until next time, I am out.